I
please.
think all the tools that I learned in the chorus, I still use them now. And I think that, well, his name's David. Um, David and I are like so open and vulnerable with each other that it's just so nice. When I was hearing your podcast, I was just like, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I love
Because I'm experiencing it.
Hey, so today I'm so excited because we have JC here. Oh my God, say hi.
Hello, hello. So excited.
Listen, I just love your story. I love that our paths have crossed. I'm a big believer that, the universe works in amazing ways. And the way that we met and the way that you came into my crazy world, my crazy love world, and seeing how you gave it 100%.
Time
Your
and time again.
Yes, your story is so powerful and so inspiring. And I really hope that anyone's listening today, what you're going to hear from JC, you're going to hear her story and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is so powerful. This can be my story. I can find love too. So let's dive in, JC. How did we meet? Well, first of all, I need everyone to know this. This is so cool because JC and I never met before. And I went onto a Facebook group and it was oh my gosh, Tony Robbins. I'm a huge Tony Robbins fan.
Say yes.
And it was right when I first thought about this idea of doing like this coaching program. And I put in a message, hey, I'm thinking about doing a female empowerment program for single women looking like ready for love. Anyone that's interested, let me know. And JC was one of the people like, I'm in. Oh
I
yeah.
was like, I need that in my life.
She jumped in and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is awesome. So cool. And I remember introducing like the idea to you. So like let's just start there. Like when you saw that happen and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in, and you met me, like what was going through your head? Like a coaching program for women looking for love. What was your impression?
It was kind of like the answer that I didn't know. Tony Robbins says you ask the better question, you get the better answer. So I think that was the better answer for me because I had been divorced for 2 years. I hadn't dated. I dated one guy shortly and that didn't work out. And I was just like, dating's not for me. Let me just stick to being a mom. I just got to focus on my kids. But, there's always for me, there was that desire of wanting to have a partnership, to have a companion, to have someone that you can feel fulfilled with. And when I saw your post, I was like, maybe she could help me.
I love that.
Maybe this is not a lie. Maybe that she really could help me because I didn't know how to go about it. You remember I told you I've never been online dating, and dating with the kids is, me talking to other parents or dads or guys. I wasn't in the places where I could have that type of,
Yeah.
conversation. So when I saw that post, I was like, yeah, that would be great.
I
Like if you could do this, I will be there.
I feel like you're so coachable. Like this is important. I feel like
Mm,
a lot of people coming in to like just the whole personal growth and development, your head was so in it. Like I remember you coming in and you were like, okay, I'm like, you got homework to do, girl. I was like, you got things. I was like, I got rules. And you're like, wait a second.
oh, the rules.
What was the hardest rule?
Oh.
You can
I'm
share
going to
what
give
you
away
want.
your rule. No, they could go on and sign up for the course and they'll find out. But you're right. I was coachable. I trusted that God put you in my path too, and that you had these rules for a reason. And that if I, and the rules were kind. I think there were boundaries. There were healthy boundaries that maybe I couldn't place for myself. Um, so I think and when you say that I'm coachable, I think that I just had this trust that God did put you in my life. I did see that post for a reason. There's thousands of posts that I missed and I caught yours. So if God has us seeing something, it's because there's something there for us, especially if it resonates with us, right?
Yeah.
So I hated it. I complained about the rules all the time. Every single meeting that he talked about, I complained about it. But I try, I was having a tantrum.
No, but
I still
you,
did it anyway.
that's what I love. That you were like, I'm going to do, it's kind of like a trust fall. You're like, let me just trust
Yeah.
and I'm going to fall back. Jackie's going to catch me. And it was totally different from, I feel like what I'm doing with women and this whole program, I am so proud of it. Because it's something that I did for myself and I know it worked. And like when I first opened the program, that idea, JC was the first one in that first session. And I love that you like trusted in me. And I feel like you're like the perfect story because you did it and you're like, okay, this is totally different from what I've been doing, but I've been in my own way. I've been stuck in a pattern and I haven't found my happily ever after. So let me just go with it. And you really
Yeah.
surrendered. You really surrendered. Like, okay, let's do this. JC, like the whole limiting beliefs that you had in your head, I feel like a lot of women have that too. I have kids, I'm divorced, all the baggage. And I'm like, wait a second, that is part of your beautiful story. You're a freaking amazing mom, and someone's going to meet you and be like, oh my gosh, that is freaking like that's on their list. Like that's what they want, you know?
Right.
And I
But
feel
I'm
like,
in it, so it was hard for me to believe that. It's easy for
yes.
you to say, but I'm the one in it and saying like, okay, sometimes I want to throw in the towel. How would someone I meet not want to throw in the towel?
I know, but
But I will close up. I just to give, I guess, people that share that because you wanted me to share, but I think it was the not talking to your exes.
yes.
That was the hardest rule. And I think that right now, what you're saying is like kind of like that. Okay, like exclude all the baggage. That is the baggage, not my kids, not the things that I'm so gifted to have. It's
Yeah.
the baggage that I'm
Oh,
electing
I
to carry.
love that, JC girl. That is gold. That is gold. I love that. And so yeah, that whole talking to the ex stuff. I had to fight you on that one a little bit. And
Yeah, I was
but
so
you
stuck to his daughter and him and the things that we would do, and
yeah, and she
yeah, I
was
was
trying to
stuck.
justify it. And I said, it's bye-bye time. It's bye-bye. And I feel like there's a lot of power. She's like waving goodbye. I feel like what was also really helpful is the group. Like, I love
Yeah,
that you were so willing to share and connect with the other women. And I feel there's power in numbers. Like, all of us were like, oh my God, you're not, sometimes you feel so alone in like your struggle. Like, can you speak to that about how it felt to be with the other women?
yeah. Well, I was there with your other friend. Well, I don't know that she's a friend, but I was there with someone else at that first group that kind of followed us along through the month
Oh, yes,
because I
yes.
just kept on signing up again and again because I
Yeah.
felt like I just had a lot of work to do on myself. And it wasn't just, I thought that it was just like, okay, you're going to guide me as to how I can be open to dating, but there's a lot of inner work to be, done
Yes.
with intention. So I think that listening to the other stories, I think that every single story I heard had a reflection of something in me.
Yeah.
So, but it was easier for me to see it listening to them. And like you said, then I didn't feel alone in my struggle. And I'm like, wait, I struggle with that too. And I'm here trying to convince her this advice. Let me take that advice for me.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think that was the bouncing around of just our struggles and like feeling like, oh, but um just the things that we were going through, I guess. It was
Yeah.
nice to hear it and nice to know, like, oh wait, I do that too, or
No, but
can I,
also
or do I do that?
you had done it and it was awesome seeing your growth. Like, from my
Oh yeah,
perspective, being like, oh my God. And then like as other members were coming on and sharing and seeing how far you've come. And then you telling people, yeah, don't talk to your ex. I was like, what is this? I remember when I was trying to convince you of that. And now you're, so I love to see. So now, like, I really want people to hear about how you met your guy. You want to talk about that?
of course. I still feel like I just met him.
I love it.
Me too. So again, I didn't have that. I wasn't in the right scenes, I guess, to meet people. So to me, I was either going to meet a guy at a park or at a museum with the kids, doing kid stuff because that's all I did. Um, so then Jackie mentioned about online dating, or I think someone else in the group actually mentioned online dating. And I'm like, oh, I don't do online dating. That's crazy. You know, I just watch Tinder. I might end up getting kidnapped or something. So I was very afraid of that. But then, you know, you and I started talking. We're like, well, we could start with the profile. And I'm like, okay, I'll do the Facebook dating and see how it goes. Because it popped up, right? God is so good. God had something pop up on my phone that said, oh, try Facebook dating. And I'm like, oh, okay. I guess, you know, it's part of my homework. Let me just do it. And then that first experience was kind of wild. But then you and I sat down and found out why it was so wild, right? So we then,
And
and it's funny
actually,
because
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
as you were showing me how to set up my profile, that's how I started getting an eye to look at others.
That's exactly what I was going to say, because I do think that a lot of people have this whole, oh my gosh, online dating is the worst. But I really don't feel that people are putting themselves out there in the best way. And
The
I do,
best way. That's
and
the key word.
I really feel like that even applies, because I met Will before online dating even existed. I met it, but my dating method, the crazy love method, applies online, like the same
Yeah.
kind of, the foundation, the rules, all of that stuff applies. And I implemented it to, like, with you and the other members, and it works. And it's so beautiful to go through your profile and really put yourself out there authentically. And then how you are looking into profiles and making sure that you
They're
challenge
authentic
yourself.
too.
Yeah, and you challenge yourself and don't go for your type. Like I've had episodes about that. Your
Oh,
type.
you should have me on one of those shows because I could tell you, like, your type may not be your type. That might be the type of trouble.
Yes,
So make sure
exactly.
you know what type that is.
Exactly. I literally remember when you were sending me pictures and think, oh, like this one. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, because
And
it was like this whole wide variety of buffet. Like I've never experienced that, and I'm like, sheesh, I found it so hard to meet one guy in a year, and here I am meeting like 8 guys in an hour. It's like, whoa, it's so overwhelming.
I know. I do think that you really leaned into having a coach. Like you took advantage of that, and I thought that was amazing, because sometimes people, I don't know, I feel like some women that have been there through the program, they feel like, oh, I don't want to bother her. I'm like, no, like this is a passion of mine. And I
Yeah,
want
I was
to
one of
help.
those until you were like, I'm here to help you, and I'm like, okay, if you said so, here you go.
And I loved it. I loved it. And like getting into your DMs and seeing, wait a second, are you like everything that you
Remember? Are you, what did you call it, a travel agent? Are you trying to go traveling or something? Are you looking for a date? Remember that?
my God, no, you don't understand, you guys. You have to see. I feel like I need a glimpse into that messaging. She sent me this thing and she's like, oh, how's the weather? I think it was like the oceans and the weather and the scuba diving, or I don't know what you're talking. And I go, JC, but
All the
like,
traveling
let's
ideas.
get let's get deep. Let's get deep. And you're like, what? That's too soon. I'm like, this is what I'm about. Like,
Now. She's like, 1 hour and counting.
and she did, and you did. I'm so like proud of you.
You know,
Yeah,
can I tell you how I still do? You
yeah,
know, I
please.
think all the tools that I learned in the chorus, I still use them now. And I think that, well, his name's David. David and I are like so open and vulnerable with each other that it's just so nice. When I was hearing your podcast, I was just like, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I love
Because I'm experiencing it, like getting all those tough conversations. You said you call it diving in deep, but for me, it was like having these conversations where I may get rejected. And I don't know that I wanted a date to feel rejected. I wanted a date so I could feel good. So, but
Yeah.
obviously, if I'm looking to date someone long term, it's not my first relationship. And so why not use my past experiences to build this new one and use it as a filter? Um, so we still have those tough conversations. I texted you the other day, like, now that I'm talking to you, I think there's some tough topics. And I am so grateful that you were like, yeah, girl, go right on. Because, we did have those conversations, and here I'm fearing of rejection, and really what it's doing is bringing us closer.
I
It's a
love
beautiful
that.
thing.
Oh my God, that's so beautifully and it said and so inspiring. You guys have been together for how long right now? How long has it been?
On Friday, we'll have 4 months being boyfriend and girlfriend. And then altogether, we'll have like 6 months.
That's amazing. And I love that you are being fearless, 'cause I'm really big on
Yeah.
that. having that,
I'm like hugging fear.
yes, having that,
Going down the fire walk with all my fear trembling. But I'm doing it.
no, I love it because, and I love how you just articulated that, when you date, to not be rejected, because that doesn't feel good, right? But when you have the faith, and what I'm all about is the more authentic you show up, the more fearless you are to communicate who you are, and like what you're really deep down stuff that you're scared that they'll reject you, and how you just said it got you closer together. Like your person, I just got chills. You see, I love this. I love it. But that your person will not run away, right? When you
And
find,
that's big. Say it again. My person will let.
will not run away. Your person will not run
I
away.
think that is the biggest fear, to know and to trust that my person does exist. At the beginning of the chorus, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but
Yeah.
I wrote my crazy love story and what that would look like, and it was almost a dream, and when you say this about my person won't run away, it took me a long time. You saw how many times I took your chorus. Like it took me a couple of tries to be able to actually really not want to believe it, because I wanted to believe it the whole time, but actually accept it as my truth,
Yeah.
and for me to look at, and that's why when me and David have these conversations, I cry and I think about what you had me write on that first and second week of the course, because I'm like, it's really happening. It's really happening.
I you understand, I have like constant chills. Like I feel like the love that you have right now, JC. I'm like a proud, like I don't know, proud
Be
mama bear.
be mama, be proud of me, Mama Bear. I still got my notes.
Because you don't understand. Like she showed up, right? This, of course, at the time that we did it was 4 weeks, right? And you did it, but then afterwards you're like, oh no, I'm gonna be a member the next following month. And then you had you have lifetime access to the videos. So you're like, oh, I went back and saw this again, like kind of like really challenging yourself to really dive deep and do the inner work. Because a lot of people sometimes don't realize, it's like, oh, I want to find my person, that's it, and like I'll get a matchmaker and set me up, but like no,
Oh,
like
you remember that was me. I was like, oh yeah, I skipped unit 1 and 2. Oh, that was not for me. I did that already. And I was so wrong.
wait, I
I was
busted
so
you. I
wrong.
busted you
Yeah.
on one of our group calls, and I said something to you, and you're like, "Oh, I didn't do that." I was like,
I didn't hear that one.
and I was like, "You're gonna go do lesson 2, well, unit
You're like,
1."
wait a minute. How are you in unit 3 if you didn't do these assignments?
You're like, "I wanted to get to the fun part of like the actual dating like stuff."
Like I'm at that level. I really did. I really did think that I was at that level, but little did I know that there was inner. And I guess you don't know what you don't know,
Yes,
And I didn't
yeah,
know
I love
until you
that.
pushed me and made me go back.
I love that you said that. And I think, I don't know if David will be up for it one day, but to do him on
He's
the show
here.
too. No, he's not. Does he want
He
to come and say
is.
hi? Shut up. I would
I
die.
don't think he's on the call. Let me
No, no,
see.
it's okay. It's okay. We could do it another day.
I don't hear him
No, no,
talking. Hold
no.
on, because I didn't. Okay.
We could do it another day. That'd be so
Okay.
fun. Stop. That'd be so cute. You know what? We could do a double date on the podcast.
Ooh,
Will and David.
that would be nice. I think they would get along.
You are so cute. Like I care so much about you. I love you. What's funny is that you were like, oh, I think it was your friend. All of my clients end up becoming, I care so much. You guys all become like very close to me. Like I feel like we all
What?
become like family.
Well, my son is like, my mom has a friend in the Canary Islands. We might go one day.
Yeah,
Like he
you are
knows.
you are coming to the Canaries. That's exactly what's happening. So I
Yeah.
want to ask you one last question. Okay. For anyone, because I'm gonna be starting and launching the new session in January. And I'm super excited about it. For anyone that's on the fence about it, like, oh my gosh, should I do this coaching program? What would your words, your thoughts be to that person, to that woman that's kind of feeling like you felt and is on the fence?
Well, first, because sometimes money, you're like, oh, is it worth it? And you don't know if it's worth it. Um, so first is always remember the rule that when you pay for something, you pay attention to that something. Um, so sometimes when, you can watch all the YouTube videos you want, but sometimes you don't pay attention to them because they're free. unfortunately, right?
Right. I love
So
that.
get over that money hump. Second, it's an investment. I think I'm a strong believer that our largest investment is our relationship. I've been married twice, and it's, it took a lot of my energy went into that marriage with the person I was with, and I got married to never get divorced. It's death do us part, and I'm still alive. And so all that energy was because I didn't filter them out. And I think that's what your course does. It helps you really filter out. It really helps you discover what love. I mean, obviously we all had our childhoods. We all had maybe things that we desired or not desired. And we all got to find love in a way that we didn't actually have a choice in. It
Yeah.
was whatever our parents or the adults we were around. It was up to them to show us what love was. And I can tell you for me that that love was very unaffectionate, unattentive. It was just like I provide um, and 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 that's it. Like that's always my dad is a provider, so he will
Yeah.
always provide. But I as an adult, I got you gave me the opportunity time and time again to redefine what love meant to me and what I wanted it to be. And I really thought it was a dream, and now I'm living it. So I feel that anyone that's doubting it, give yourself, sometimes you go buy a pair of heels and they end up being like the worst night ever, but you wore them all night long, you look glamorous in those heels. So do it with the course, give yourself, it's gonna last a lot longer. Like I said, I took the course. I think I stopped taking it a couple months ago, and I still review my notes. I still convince myself to carry on, to be fearless, like you said, and to have those tough conversations. And I think it's because of the inner work that you had me do during the course. I think that's what has, and I'm not kidding when I tell you that I'm hugging up on the fear. I
Yeah.
am like I'm having all this like all this inner body sensation while I'm having these tough conversations with David and hoping he doesn't reject me and hoping that I can continue flowing and stay connected with me. But it's very fearful.
Yeah.
But thanks to the course, I have to say that I got the light at the end of the tunnel. I got a faith that things can work out. And you say this all the time. You said it today. My right person's not going to run away from me,
Yeah.
and I like that.
Oh my gosh, I love you. I'm so happy that you're here. Your story, I know, is going to inspire other women. And, I'm like so beyond proud of you, like just for really putting your heart into this, for really like, surrendering and going all in and having the faith, to go forward. And I'm so happy that you met David. I cannot wait to have you guys in the Canaries because I'm doing a retreat, y'all. That's what
Yes, please do. Spring break's around the corner. Let's go.
Thank you,
Oh yeah.
JC, so much. I totally appreciate you for being
Oh, I
here.
hope it's not the last time we talk, girl, because when you have those online dating things, I want to be there to share.
Oh my God, 100%. When I have those free workshops and everything like that. And for anyone
Yeah.
listening, you can click below because I know I'm going to have those links for you guys to sign up for my free workshops that I'm always offering. And probably a link to the wait list for the next when I start that coaching program again that JC's talking about.
Yes, please do.
Thank you,
Sign up,
guys.
y'all. You won't regret it.
Thank you, guys.
I appreciate you. Thanks for having me.